How's everybody
Hi,
doing?
everyone.
This is my first time trying with this program, so hopefully we work it out. Hey Dixie, hey Christine, hey
Hi,
Karen,
Viv. Janet.
hey Brenda, hey
Wizard
Carol,
is here. It's the dead of night in England.
hey Rebecca. Can you hear us both all right, guys? Let us know. Hey Karen, hey Brad, hey Tiffany,
Thank you, Carol.
hey Michelle, hey Viv, hey Wizard, hey Jody, hey Missy.
Oh, glad you're okay, Missy.
Um, I hey Special K. I told the kids I'd get them McDonald's and they could watch a movie in their room together. And thanks, guys. And if they'd leave us alone and help us out. And I've gotten two calls in the last 5 minutes. Thanks, Tiffany. Um, all right, for those who don't know, hey, Shelly, this is my wife, Shannon. And she's going to introduce herself and tell you a little about herself.
Hi, Karen. Thank you for the compliment. I'm having water but it has cucumbers, so it will make me want to drink water, right? Hello. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about myself before we got started. I am a therapist. I'm a master's level therapist, which means that I don't prescribe medications and I don't diagnose. I work on treatment plans and on treatment teams with sometimes with people who do diagnose and do prescribe. So I wanted to start that out so that no one here misconstrues that I'm trying to give therapy. Um, I think I legally have to say that, I'm not giving therapy. I'm not giving therapy advice. I'm just looking at this through the lens of psychology and what I've been trained in, so that we could get a little bit more perspective or a different perspective than maybe what we were already looking at. But I'm excited. I have a timeline for us to go through tonight. And then we're going to go through some of the testimony that we didn't go through yet today. And then we'll talk a little bit about our theories.
Hey, Wizard. Thanks so much. Let's see if I can add this. Oh, yep. I got to figure that out. We're figuring it out. Thanks everyone for being here. Um, Shannon is a rock star, and yes, we all do need therapy.
Oh, thank you.
But the first thing I'm going to try to do here is pull up the timeline that Shannon made. The new timeline. New timeline. Let's see if this works. And there it is. Can you see it, babe?
No.
You can't see my screen, huh?
Nope.
That's a bummer. All right.
All right. Um,
All right. So here's the
it's
new
okay. I can
timeline.
pull it up on my own screen. Um, okay. So this, I wanted to do a timeline of the people that are involved in the case that this happened to. Um, and I wanted to kind of set what had happened before and after. Hmm, okay. All right. So,
All right. So you guys could see 2010. Isabella moves to the USA with a green card from Brazil. Isabella marries Nick Tagliarini. Um, in 2011, uh,
Eric Robinson. So
is arrested
ER.
for coke possession.
Mhm.
Can you see it now, baby, on your end or no?
Yes. So then we move. So all of that happens, sometime in the conglomeration of the time before. And then in 2016, at some point in time, Isabella and Nick get divorced, and Eric Robinson and Isabella get together. They move into the townhome in July. In August, there is a possession of opiates and a domestic violence arrest for Eric. Of course, I couldn't find anywhere where they had the other party listed. So I am assuming that that was either against Isabella or the prior girlfriend. So then we're going to move to 2017. We have another arrest for coke possession in April. June, Nick moves in. I put Nick with an H so we'd know which Nick, or Nick with a K. Nick with an H is the victim. He moves in June. Also on June 2nd, we have another domestic violence arrest for Eric Robinson, and this time strangulation. And the 23rd is when Eric goes to court, and Isabella says that she sees him that morning. He goes to court, and then he gets arrested right there at court. So he's there at court for coke possession. So they put him in jail, and he stays in jail for a while. Now, on September 3rd, she testifies that the blood oath is signed. However, when we look at that blood oath, I don't know if you guys caught it on the top of the photo. There, it says August 3rd, 2017. But then when she signs it, she signs September 3rd. So I don't know. Maybe they were just, maybe they were imbibing when they wrote that. But there's two different dates on it. But on September 3rd, it's signed by her. On September 22nd is when we saw Hot Cop number 2 telling us about how he was called to their house by Nick because they were having an argument between them. And at that point in time, Isabella was beating up his car with a 2x4 and had smashed a lot of the possessions in the house, was drunk and belligerent. So then on the 3rd of October, just scarcely after that time, Eric Robinson is released, and he goes with his ex-fiancée to the home, grabs his possessions, finds the contract, and then the murder happens on the 5th. October 14th is when they swore to get married in their blood oath, but October 14th ended up when Isabella was arrested. She was released 4 days later, and then she was on house arrest until 2018.
Thank you so much, Special K. That was too kind of you. Can you see
Oh,
that?
thank you. Thank you so much. Sorry, I didn't leave a breath in there. But then Janet found our Janet from chat
Thanks,
found
Joni.
the marriage license for Isabella and her new husband. So you see that happens in 2019. So just this, she wants to be married, is what I gather. And she gets married. She applies for a license for marriage on the 20th, gets married on the 23rd. It's very on brand. 3 days later, after her license, she gets married.
All right, now I'm going to try pulling up the screen, babe. Hopefully you can see this, but I'm not sure.
All right.
Just see me and you?
Yep.
If you click on that arrow, nothing else where you can change screens, nothing?
No, it just puts me as the bigger screen.
Okay. Well, let me
I
know.
have a share screen, but I'm assuming that's
for you to share.
yeah, right.
Let me just see something. All right. Well, let me see if you can hear when I play. Where do you want me to go to first?
Oh, so if you will go to
well, you know what? Before I do, hold on. Sorry. Before I do, let me play it and just see if you can hear it. All right.
Okay. I can hear it.
Okay. So where do I go?
So if you go to 45014, That's where we're gonna. I think you might have. Did you listen today to her describing the crime?
No, we didn't listen to any of her
Okay.
today.
Okay, wonderful. That's where she's going to describe the crime.
All right, well, I can start. It starts at 4:44, so I can play up to that.
Absolutely.
All right, here we go, guys. Here's Isabella Tagliarini.
Right over there. Okay,
Thanks, Janet.
please remain standing.
Can you guys
Raise
all
your
hear
right hand,
judge?
hand to be sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
You may be seated.
Okay, have a seat right there. Just move in a little bit so you're close enough to the mic to be heard. That's fine.
Can you please state your full name for the record?
Isabella Tagliarini.
And can you spell both first and last, please?
Isabella
Okay, excellent. Thanks, Janet.
Tagliarini.
Good afternoon, Ms. Tagliarini.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
A little tense, but okay.
You want to move up a little bit because the microphone?
Move a bit.
Speak up.
Okay. Better now?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Tell us how old you are.
I'm 44 years old.
And where are you from?
I'm from Brazil.
When did you come to this country?
In December of 2010.
Do you know the defendant, Eric Robinson?
Not at that time.
The question, do you know him?
Yes, I do.
And back in 2017, you knew him as well, correct?
Yes, correct.
Back in 2017, August of that year, where were you living?
I was living in Plantation,
Do you remember the address or no?
7201. I'm not so sure.
Northwest 15th Street.
Yes, perfect.
And back in August of that year, who was living at that location?
Back in August,
Yes.
it was me, Eric, and Nicholis Wilcox.
Nicholis Wilcox. And back on August of 2017, how long were you living there? Prior to that.
I
Thanks so much,
moved
Shelley.
there in
Thank you.
July
You're the best.
of
Thank you.
2016.
Okay. And you and Eric were boyfriend girlfriend?
Yes, we were.
And Nicholis Wilcox, when did he move into that apartment?
In the middle of June of 2017.
And were you dating both of them at that point or no?
No,
Just Eric.
just Eric
Nicholas was a roommate, correct?
was the roommate.
How many bedrooms in that apartment or that house?
3 bedrooms.
Master bedroom,
A master bedroom, a bathroom inside, and then 2 other bedrooms and a bathroom.
so Nicholas would have his own bedroom.
Yes,
Gretchen.
of course.
And did you share a bedroom with Eric?
Thank you.
Yes, we
Gretchen.
did.
Specifically
Thanks
on
so much.
August of that year, were you sharing a bedroom
Yes.
with Eric?
Yes,
That's
I
true, Shelley.
was.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Now, at one
guys.
point,
So kind.
the defendant went to jail, correct?
Yes, he did.
Thanks, guys.
Prior to him going to jail, were you still dating him?
We were still officially together, but
Sustained.
Just tell me when you want to pause.
Rephrase your question.
Also, can you
Prior
type
to
in
the
the chat?
defendant going to jail,
I had
were you
no-
dating Eric Roberts?
Okay, if I type.
yes,
Okay. And what is your relationship with
For
Nicholas
everybody or
at that
just
point?
you?
we were friends. I was working for him.
You mentioned that you were working for him.
Yes, I was working for him.
What did Nicholis Wilcox do for a living?
He was a general contractor.
Are you a general contractor?
No, I'm not.
How would you be working for him?
He offered me the job in the beginning to tape
Carol.
and to clean
Thank
the
you.
places where he was working.
And the majority of
You guys
the
are the
time,
greatest.
which
Thank
county
you.
were you working?
We were in West Palm Beach, so Palm Beach County.
Palm Beach County. After the defendant, Eric Robinson, went to jail, did you stay in the apartment?
Yes, I did.
Did Nicholis Wilcox stay in the apartment?
Yes, he did.
At any point, did you develop a relationship with Nicholis Wilcox?
Yes.
How long did it take?
It take maybe 3 weeks.
And did you have any communication with Eric Robinson at that point?
No, I didn't.
You moved on to Nicholis Wilcox.
I'm sorry.
You moved on to Nicholis Wilcox?
Yes.
Drawing your attention to October of that year, did you personally have any knowledge of when Eric Robinson was supposed to get out of jail?
No.
Drawing your attention to October 5th of that year, do you remember that date?
Yes, I do.
The morning of that date?
I do.
The morning of October 5th, were you sleeping in the same bed as Nicholis Wilcox?
Yes, we were.
What, if anything, awoke you?
What woke me up?
Yeah.
I woke up with Eric holding my mouth and my neck. And then I opened my eyes. The television was still on and the lights were on.
You saw Eric on top of you, or was he on top of somebody else?
He was on top of me.
And tell me what else did you hear or see?
Well, at that moment, Eric made a question, not asking if I want to live or die, and also telling me to be quiet, continue holding. I couldn't turn my head to any side, and I could hear Nicholis Wilcox struggling to breathe.
What do you mean by that?
Was a noise that will never leave my mind forever. Horrible of a person struggling. I couldn't see him, but he was struggling. Terrible noise, like a noise like this.
What happened after that?
In my mind, I thought that Nick was gagged, or I didn't know he was hurt. Then Eric walked me out of the bed until out around the bed. I couldn't see Nick. At a glimpse of my eyes, I saw something on his face that looked like blood. And Eric took me to the living room that was in front of our bedroom, sat me down, and he was telling me that he was still not sure if he was going to kill me too. Asked why I cheated on him and stayed with Nicholis Wilcox. And we could still listen Nicholas trying to breathe, and he said that he had to finish his job.
Now, let me interrupt you for a second there.
Okay.
Prior to you waking up, with the defendant on top of you, holding your mouth.
You wanna keep
When's the
going?
last time you spoke to Eric Robbins?
In person was in the morning he was going to the court, and from there he was arrested.
Okay, if you want to pause there.
After that, he went to jail and
Go ahead, babe.
So, whew, well, I can't see her body language again because I'm not watching her, but absolutely saw in the chat that her affect is very flat. Could be that she has admitted that she's on quite a dosage of benzos, Xanax, for quite a few years now. So that's one thing. The other thing is that when she describes the crime, and I don't know how they told her to testify, but it's very distanced in her language. So she doesn't refer to him as her boyfriend. I mean, this person has signed a blood oath saying that they're going to marry this person. And the language is so distant. She almost always calls him his full entire name. She doesn't call him Nick. One time later on, she calls him, I think she says, my fiance. But every other time it's very distant. And then she says, it's the worst noise I ever heard. I can't forget it. But then, and on here and on cross, she both times doubles down on, but I didn't think he was hurt. So you heard the very worst sound that you have ever heard from a human. You even tell Hot Cop number 1 that you're never going to forget it. It has traumatized you so very much. And then you didn't think he was hurt? I don't know. I would just expect to hear more descriptive language if it was an actual occurrence. And yes, a lot of the distance, I think, can be attributed to Xanax, that she really is. Brad says she's in her own benzo zip code. That's very true. It could be, but it also makes it sound, instead of genuine, it makes it sound rehearsed. Like the state told her and really worked with her. Shelley, that's exactly what I first thought. Before I listened to the whole testimony and really watched her body language a second time, I really thought she was just dissociating and that she was disconnected, but I don't think that anymore. So, and I agree, Michelle, it is more of a statement that she demands basically from Nick, saying that he'll marry her. So that's strange. Also, the entire idea of it is strange. So he comes in, he has one arm or one hand around her neck, one hand over her mouth. But Nick is already dead. I mean, he's gurgling, he's already suffered a very bad blow that has made him so that he doesn't have any defensive wounds. And Gretchen, I am trying to be very cognizant that it could be that her culture and her heritage does factor in, and the language barrier could be factoring in. She may need to feel like she's very prepared, and that may be why she sounds rehearsed as well. So I'm still giving her, somewhat the benefit of the doubt here. But then she says, so he walks her out of the bedroom and she sees Nick's face. Thank you, Amy. He sits her down in the living room and they can hear Nick in the bedroom struggling to breathe. So then Eric goes back. He says he has to go back in and finish the job. And at this point, I know a lot of people already are saying, okay, I would have run. I would have gotten out of there. What if he's going to kill me next? I don't see that as, especially with these prior domestic violence calls. I don't know that she necessarily, I don't fault her for not running at this point. I mean, I don't fault her at all for not running, but I don't even think that that was an inkling at this point in time. All right, so then the next place, babe, what did you think of that? Just like watching it back the second time. You haven't seen it the second time.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. I struggle to. I agree with what you said, and I don't know. Watching it the first time as it went on, I wanted to believe her. I wanted to believe her, and as it goes on, I believe her less and less. I want to give her the benefit of the doubt. Just some of the things she says, like you said, I think are very rehearsed, and when we get to the point where she starts talking about the phone, I just start losing. She loses all credibility to me. But anyway, where do you want to go next?
Okay, so the next timestamp I have is 4:56:15, and we're gonna start talking about the Xanax. This massive.
First time you saw him,
4:56.
what happens next?
He continued talking to me, making questions. He told me, where is your medications for anxiety and depression? I said, it's inside the bedroom in the same drawer. So he told me, told me to take 4 bars and then have some vodka, so I could count down, and probably he could take control of my actions after that.
You mentioned that he used a metal bar, something you said you didn't know the name of before. Do you know the name of it now?
Yes, I know now as a crowbar.
Do you know what happened to that crowbar?
No, I don't know. He didn't tell me.
What's the last time you saw that crowbar?
The last time I saw was when we walked outside the house to the back side that there is a pool, and was in the left side hanging to the door there with a plastic and some blood. That was the last time. He told me not to touch.
Now, you mentioned that this happened around, you said 2:30 in the morning, right?
Yes.
Now, what happened between 2:30 and when the sun
You
comes
can
up?
pause here.
What was going on?
I just noted during that, I mean, that is a massive amount of Xanax. So he tells her to wash down 4 bars of Xanax. So I'm assuming, I can't remember what she says on cross. She says how many milligrams it is. I think the bars are 2 milligrams. Is that right? Do you guys remember?
I think you're right.
So if she had if her usual, anyway, it's like 8 times what she usually would take. Plus, if she would have already had the extended release in her body, she didn't testify about that, but she did have a prescription for extended release as well. So maybe if she, had taken it that night already, it's a massive amount of Xanax. It was mind blowing when she said 4 bars, and then knowing that she has to go. I mean, adrenaline can make up for some of that, I think. I don't think that there's any sort of comparison of adrenaline when you've killed someone. I mean, that must be the most adrenaline. Or I don't know if you all have these nightmares where you are, you wake up, or you don't wake up, but in the dream you somehow become aware that you have a role in a homicide, and you're like, oh my gosh, what? And the police have all this information on you. This happens to me all the time. It's too much true crime probably. But your adrenaline has to be going so much, but booze and that much, I don't see that you're able to paint, you're able to drive. She drives a Cadillac. no problems. And she fools the police. The police don't think, oh, wait, you are like way high. We've got to take your blood alcohol content. We need to get toxicology on you. No, they don't think any of that. So, I mean, I know they are fast acting, but it's not that time. But yes, I mean, the only thing Brad brings up a good point. It's you can if this is true, there's no way this is her first time taking that much Xanax. So, if you want to go to, I think 50911.
They still are so blurry in my mind. Believe because of all medication, all trauma, seeing my fiance being killed there. But I know that we went out from the house. He said he needed to go to the courthouse.
Let's talk about that.
Okay, so
At one point, you ended up.
I just was giving her the benefit of the doubt on there because she does say my fiance was being killed. And so she does use the word killed instead of hurt, and she does call him her fiance. So she gains points with me there, but then she loses points with me on where she says she's just over, she's really rationalizing. And this, again, that can be a defense mechanism, but she's saying, it's the trauma, it's all these things, but it sounds rehearsed. So if you go, this is one of the places where I want you to watch her body language. So if you go to 5:10:34, I think you guys will appreciate the body language on this.
All right, guys. Body language time. Watch the body language.
But I didn't because I was so scared to be killed after he made it very clear. Anything I did, he would kill me. Even said he was going to kill my kids in Brazil. We had connections.
I'm going to show you a CD, okay?
Okay.
You had a chance to view some surveillance CDs, correct?
Correct.
And I'm going to show you one that's marked 4G. Is that correct?
Do you want me to keep going?
Take a look at this.
Did you get to the point? I can't see it. Did you get to the point where she?
Yeah, she put her hands over her face and looks down. And
yeah. So, what do you think? Put in the chat what you think about that. It's right after she says. I thought he had connections. He could kill my kids. It's like, it's really trying to convince her audience, I think, because I don't think that he was probably mentioning killing her kids at that point in time. I do believe that he's abusive and wanted control of her, but I don't think he had connections to go to Brazil and kill her kids. And I don't think that was said to her. I think that was, she's being deceitful. Okay, if you go to Michelle has been saying in the chat, and she's so right, that about the love contract. This was a contract for Nick. This was not a contract that like she was really a part of. So
I'm pulling it up on the screen.
Okay, awesome. Because then we're going to go to the place where she talks about it. But another thing about it is that this is an incredibly short time to go from one relationship, which she may have been checked out of, sure, but to the type of relationship where you're going to say, I'm going to marry you. And this woman has already been married before. It just seems like there may be a little bit of that she's, forcing this intimacy, and that she's love bombing a little bit these men in relationships because either maybe she wants citizenship, she wants to be married, is like, I don't know if it's because of citizenship, I just know that every single person, she triangulates these men, and it's all about being married. So you have the contract up.
Where do you want me to go next?
Go to 6/20/10, because it's very important that she lets the jury know, and that she repeats this a couple of times, that he wrote the contract.
So this is cross now.
Yes.
This is cross now, guys. The prosecutor said she had a green card. The prosecutor made a point to say that she had a green card. Here we go.
2 weeks for you and Nick Wilcox to get into a relationship, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall that you and Nicholis Wilcox drew up a marriage contract?
We never drew a marriage contract. We wrote a love letter together. Actually, he wrote. It's his handwriting.
Okay. So he wrote up a document, right? You're saying it's not a contract, but it was him promising to marry you.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Promising that you two would have children,
Yes.
that he would make you happy every day of your life except for 10%, and that he would give 90% that you're right.
Yes.
Okay. And you and Nicholas signed, or Nick, you and Nick signed this document, and
We did.
and both put your blood on it to seal it,
Yes.
right? Do you remember the date that you drew up that document?
No, I don't.
Right, you don't recall. With me showing it to you, refresh your recollection.
Yes, you can show me.
What is the date on the bottom of that document?
September 3rd,
2017, right?
2017.
Okay, so if Eric Robinson, I'm no math scholar, but if Eric Robinson went to jail on August 23rd, this is about 10 days later, right?
Almost 2 weeks, yes.
Okay. But you testified on direct that you and Nick Wilcox didn't even get into a relationship until 3 weeks after Eric went to jail, right?
That's what I believed was all that time, but
Okay.
that doesn't make big difference was after.
Okay. In fact, you and Nick Wilcox actually became romantically involved immediately after Eric went to jail, correct?
Not immediately. We were really friends, but not immediately.
So, at the time that Nick died on October 5th, 2017, you and
Just real quickly, for those who didn't watch the stream, Shannon and I also have a love contract, but it's signed with Chick-fil-A sauce, which I personally think should be currency. I don't think we should be paying with money when we have transactions. Personally, I think, like, if you want to buy something, they should be like, this costs 3 Chick-fil-A sauce. I don't think money, what value does money have? Give me Chick-fil-A sauce. That should be currency. We should just base everything in this world like gold bars, except based on Chick-fil-A sauce. And I'm sorry, I'll continue the video.
No, you can stop right there. That's good.
relationship.
Tia, the date of the murder is 10/5/2017. Very early in the morning on 10/5. So the interesting thing to me is that she just really wants to assert that they weren't cheating. She wasn't cheating on, it was after he went to jail. It wasn't before he went to jail. That's the important thing, she says. But the defense attorney, I think, is doing a good job of showing that she gets into this contract 10 days after. I mean, she's in a marriage contract, like 10 days after you're supposedly just now together with someone. And she says it's almost 2 weeks. And it doesn't matter to her. What matters is just that it was after he went to jail. But I mean, I think what matters to most logical people is that is not a long enough time to create an actual relationship. The dates on the contract are, well, at the very top, there's a date that says August 8th, 2017, or August 3rd, 2017. I don't know why they never brought that up. But then at the bottom where she signs it 9/3/2017. Now, knowing what we know about Isabella when hot cop number 2 testifies, we know that the relationship, even though it's brand new, is very volatile. And so it's very possible that maybe this contract was written up, in the aftermath of another giant fight or something. But I just think it's so interesting that she doesn't pick up on that at all from the defense attorney. What she wants to make clear is, I didn't sleep with him until after he was in jail. I didn't sleep with Nick until after.
Brad, I highlighted this because my older son, Big Bird, will not eat French fries or anything without the big bottles of Chick-fil-A sauce from Target. So we're with you. Where do you want me to go, babe?
Okay, so the next thing, again, is body language. And I'm going to tell you, this is uncomfortable to watch. It's a 3-minute sidebar, and I just want you to watch her body language during the sidebar. So it's going to be coming right up at 7:05. And it is when the defense attorney starts asking her about these text messages she's sending. I think we all know that these are sexts that she's sending. So let me give you a little perspective of where we are in the timeline. So 2:30 a.m., the murder happens. They have to put the body in the tarp. They have to move the body into Nick's truck, which we hear takes a long time because he's heavy. And then around 5 a.m., Eric Robinson goes back to his ex-fiance's house to return the car. While he's gone, she showers and she starts sending him these sexy messages, which we can't see, which is so annoying. And she says also that he is making her put Nick's clothing into garbage bags because the alibi is going to be that Nick just left and disappeared. So now we are going to get into this body language, which I think is just 3 minutes of like a clinic on body language. 7:05.
All right, here comes the body language, guys. Watch the body language.
Do you recall taking a shower that morning?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What is your recollection as to when you took the shower?
I took a shower right after Eric left to go to Chris' house to exchange the car.
Okay. Now, he didn't tell you to take a shower, correct?
No, I don't remember if he said to take a shower.
Okay. In fact, you actually said, I will take a quick shower and I'll wait for you, right?
If
Do you
it's
wanna
there,
do you want to
yes.
look at it?
No, you don't have to.
Okay. And his response to that, do you recall what that was?
No.
Okay, so you had mentioned on direct about dressing sexy that
Judge, I'm going to object this to hearsay
it's a defendant's statement.
as to what he said.
Well,
Defendant's statement, it's not hearsay.
it's kind of sidebar.
Okay, excited. Thanks for being here. Love, Scott. All right, here's that body language.
There's a lot going on.
She's looking at the jury now, or looking down. She's kind of like almost shivering, it looks like. She's so uncomfortable. If you guys hear loud bangs, it's my two sons beating each other to death. She
Our
just lost her
daughter
neck.
she did, Shelly, yeah. Our daughter texted and said, please know that if you hear the noise upstairs, it has nothing to do with me.
You feel the
That
pain.
issue,
Amy.
I'm sustaining the objection.
Okay, then she gives like a little almost imperceptible
Yes.
nod.
Yes.
You see that? And you can stop it there and we'll talk about her body language.
At some point, do you recall that?
Okay.
So, goodness, so much. I'm sure you saw
Thanks, Liz.
the wringing of the hands. She adjusts her pants, so she's like trying to cover herself. She's let's see. Her respiration near the end is very high. It's definitely changed. She is wondering what the judge is going to say. Is she going to have to talk more about these text messages, which she does not want to talk about? Her lips disappear, her neck disappears. I mean, there is just some total, you can tell her heart rate is going crazy. And then she gets that affirmation from the judge when he says, you got to ask a different question. She's like, she gets a little nod like, okay, I'm gonna, so I just thought that 3 minutes, you can just see it's a struggle, because I do think that there is a lot of deception happening. Not necessarily that she killed him, but that she doesn't want the jury to know what really happened. The next one. Just this is another one where I feel like her body and her words don't match, and it's at 7:10, and we're still on the sex. So I'm sorry for everyone that said they don't want to think about her and Eric sexting after a murder. I don't want to think about it either.
All right, here we go. 7:10.
And at some point, you told Eric, not only we have the marriage proposal, but you said, I'm your wife, right? You used that phrase, I'm your wife,
Yes.
right? You told him that I need a drink, right? You wanted alcohol.
I don't remember.
Okay. May I approach to refresh your recollection?
Yes, you can
Thank
refresh your recollection on that.
Seriously, Missy, I don't understand why we're not seeing the text in this case. I don't get it.
Prudence is snoring so loud, so if you hear that, that's what it is.
Like message blocks, and then let me know when you're done.
I start here?
Yeah. Well, there's not really anything there, but
Okay.
The attorney's like, this is the part where you sexted right after the murder. Did you forget about that part?
right. So after you say you're gonna shower, and after Eric tells you, okay, put on something sexy, you tell him I need a drink too, right?
Yes. I was so scared.
Okay,
And
stop there. Girl, I don't believe you. I mean, babe, what do you think right there?
No, I don't believe her for a second.
That's just an after statement to try. She's like, oh my God, this looks bad for me. I was so scared. And it's always the same line. Just, I was so scared. Nothing really else. So what I get from these text messages is so bizarre because I know all of us are thinking, okay, he leaves the house and she's like furiously texting him about, she says, marry me. Just promise me you'll marry me. Okay, there's our marriage obsession again. And then she says, I'm your wife. And then she tells him she's going to shower and she welcomes the sexting and tells him that she needs a drink. But these are all not signs of they could be fawning, but it's also very clingy. It's also very that her anxiety is up because he's outside and she can't control him at that point in time. She doesn't know what's going on. So I don't know if there's some sort of, codependence between them or what it is, but she seems anxious and wants information from him she wants his reassurance that he loves her. At this point in time, he has murdered her fiance and she's like, tell me you love me. Tell me you love me. So that is very bizarre. I don't know. And at the same time, she's lying to the cops and saying she had no access to her cell phone, that he had taken it from her. He had her by his side, that she was basically a prisoner of his. So I definitely agree, Brad. If I did have to feel like I had to, with Eric coming back, I would need a drink. I would definitely need a drink. But I just don't feel like her words match her body.
This is before they went to Bone Town, right? As Gretchen just said.
This is right before that. So yeah. So according to the timeline of the murder, this is while he's returning the car, and then when they get back is when Bone Town happens.
Not really Pantofle.
Not really what?
Where do you want me to go? What do you want me to do?
Oh, I actually don't have more timestamps because I thought we could just kind of talk about what we had seen so far and what we kind of think as far as theories go.
I do want to go. Do you have any idea where the part is where she talks about Bone Town? That was with the on Direct,
That's
right?
Direct, right?
Not asking if I want to live or die, and also telling me to be quiet, continue holding. I couldn't turn my head to any side, and I could hear Nicholis Wilcox struggling to breathe.
What do you mean?
By the way, she clearly didn't learn from Terry Sanderson. Don't try to make a fucking noise. Don't ever try to make a noise in court. Don't do it. She didn't learn from Terry.
was a noise that will never leave my mind forever. Horrible of a person struggling. I couldn't see him, but he was struggling. Terrible noise, like a noise like this.
What happened after that?
In my mind, I thought that Nick was gagged, or I didn't know he was hurt. Then Eric walked me out of the bed until out around the bed. I couldn't see Nick. At a glimpse of my eyes, I saw something on his face.
Babe, bring up what you were saying to me about if you thought you heard me, like, make that noise. What? Remember what you were talking about?
Well, I just think that that is incongruent with suffering through that attack because I think I would be, well, first of all, if I heard you make any sort of noise like that, it would be utterly terrifying. And I would be saying, you know, I didn't know that he was attacked. I didn't know that he was being bludgeoned. I didn't know that someone was beating him. I didn't, you know, so if that was my story, those would probably be what things I would say or feel. It wouldn't be like, oh, I thought maybe he was gagging, or, I mean, I don't know. You don't just hear your spouse gagging or your intended spouse in the middle of the night and just be like, oh, you
Thanks,
know,
Shelley.
I just thought he was gagging. It's no big deal. I didn't think he was hurt.
That looked like blood. And Eric took me to the living room that was in front of our bedroom, sat me down, and he was telling me that he was still not sure if he was going to kill me too. Asked why I cheated on him and stayed with Nicholis Wilcox.
So that's weird. Why she was in a relationship with Nicholis Wilcox? Why is she saying his full name there? Why wouldn't she say I couldn't understand why I was in a relationship with Nick? Why I was in a relationship with Nicholis Wilcox, the third Esquire? Like, why say it like that?
It's weird.
And we could still listen Nicholas trying to breathe, and he said that he had to finish his job.
So we're to believe that right at this point, so he wakes her up and she hears the gagging, the gasping for air, the noise she made. He takes her out to the living room, and like that whole time, he's just sitting there, still just gagging. He's not dead. So like that whole time, he's just gasping for air. That's what we're to believe. And then he goes back, and for those that watch the medical examiner, beats his face so bad that he's got a dent in his face. It doesn't add up to me.
Interrupt you for a second there.
Okay.
Prior to you waking up with the defendant on top of you, holding your mouth, when's the last time you spoke to Eric Robbins?
In person was in the morning. He was going to the court, and from there he was arrested.
And after that he went to jail, and the first time you saw him was that morning, correct?
Yes.
Now you mentioned that he took you out of the bedroom. How did he take you out of the bedroom?
Continue holding my mouth and taking the cover over me, walking with me and made me sit on the floor.
Holding her mouth
Now,
as he...
Did you ever see him re-enter the bedroom?
Holding her mouth as he takes her out and the blanket over her.
Yes.
Yes, I was sitting right at the door, and he went back.
Did you see what he did?
Yes.
Can you tell the jury what you saw?
He had a big piece of metal, dark metal, like I didn't know the name before, but was a big metal, and he was doing like hitting him several times and saying, "Die, motherfucker!
This I
Die,
believe.
motherfucker!" And that's what he was doing until the noise disappeared.
How did you react?
I couldn't look.
You are looking.
I was so afraid, so scared, because I knew I was going to be the next.
What time of night was this?
In my belief was 2:30, because as the television was on, there was the time there. So I saw 2:30 in the morning.
That alarm is from court, by the way.
He continued talking to me, making questions. He told me, "Where is your medications for anxiety and depression?" I said, "It's inside the bedroom. I know now as a crowbar."
Used for?
Eric used to rap Nick.
Anything about that?
Later in the day, he wanted to clean and wanted me to clean all that.
Now, at one point, the body is wrapped, like you said, as a burrito inside the tarp, correct?
Correct.
What happens next?
Then he had to drag the body outside.
Okay.
And in one moment, he dragged the body from the living room, from
It's
the
weird that
bedroom
that's
to
the
the
body,
living
yeah.
room, opening the door to go to the pool. There was a grass, and he asked in one moment for me to help him because I believe was stuck, was too heavy. He even said that.
The body?
Yes. And he finished going to direction of the gate. There was a gate in the back, and he put the body there.
Now, you mentioned the gate. Where's the truck at this point?
I saw the truck was back, and
You as you were told?
yes, I did.
What did you do?
I started going on Nick's bedroom and pick
You put them in garbage bags?
in garbage. Yes.
Who told you to do this?
Eric.
Sure you want that smart 4G back there?
It's after that, while she's putting stuff in the garbage bags, that she's sending the texts.
Oh.
I moved there in July.
Living.
Some blood. That was the last time. He told me not to touch.
Now, you mentioned that this happened around, you said 2:30 in the morning, right?
Yes.
There you go,
Now, what
Janet.
happened between 2:30 and when the
2:30
sun
in the
comes up? What's going on?
Eric was preparing, asking me if there was any. Eric asking me if there was black bags or something else, and somehow he came up with a tarp, silver tarp.
Now, where did you get the silver tarp?
I believe it was in the house because that was Nick put 2 belts, one around the pool. There was the grass. It was going.
When you said that he left you alone, how long, and I asked that question, but are we talking about minutes? Are we talking about a half an hour? Are we talking about an hour?
I believe half an hour to an hour.
And he left?
He left.
In what car?
I don't know, the whole house was covered with, because of the hurricane, with plywood. I had no access to see through the windows.
Did you see the truck backed up to the gate?
Yes, because I went outside in the grass, so that's where I could see.
So you left the body in the truck and the truck backed up?
I don't understand.
Well, you mentioned that the truck was backed up to the gate, correct?
Correct.
And you also mentioned that he put the body in the truck, correct?
Yes.
And then he left, correct?
Yes. He went back with me in the house, told me what to do, and left. I don't know car. I don't know.
You don't know what car he left?
No.
And did you do as you were told?
Yes, I did.
What did you do?
I started going on Nick's bedroom and picking the clothes and putting in a plastic bag, like he told me.
And you had access to your cell phone?
I didn't know where it was because as soon as I woke up, he told me, don't worry about the cell phone. I took both of your cell phones, mine and Nick's. So at that time, I had no idea where the cell phone was.
At which point did you find it?
While I went back to the bedroom, and then was somewhere there, was not in where I left. I left plugging in the wall on the floor.
But it's safe to say you found your cell phone
I found my cell phone.
while he was away, correct?
Yes.
Did you call the police?
No, I didn't call the police.
So her story is that he told her that he took the phones, and then he leaves and she finds the phone, so he just left it there for her. I don't know if that's adding up to me.
Why?
Objection asked and answered.
Overruled. Yes, sir.
I was so scared, so afraid, and
There it is.
I
Scared.
didn't trust the police at that time at all.
While he's away, and he told you that, and correct me if I'm wrong, you said that he went to Chris's house, correct?
Chris's house.
You were putting together Nicholas's clothes, correct?
Yes, I was putting
And you put them in garbage bags?
in garbage. Yes.
Who told you to do this?
Eric told me.
At which point does he come back?
Oh, he came back. Was maybe 1 hour after, the most, between half an hour to 1 hour after he came back.
And do you remember what car he came back in?
No.
When he came back, what happened?
He asked me to wear some lingeries and be sexy. He wanted to have sex with me.
Did you?
I did to survive.
This is right after he came back, correct?
Right after he came back.
What do you think about, babe? What do you think of the language there?
I would believe that if he demanded sex from her right after the killing. But so she knows that she's going to have sex with him. She knows this, right? And if that is non-consensual, then I think her frozen moment has expired and she needs to leave the place. You know, he's not there. He's not there. Like, call an Uber and go to your ex-husband's house. Obviously, she's used to texting her ex-husband and just still trying to have her ex-husband rescue her from things. So why does she not, leave at that point in time if it's she's having sex to survive, which is basically rape?
And then, one thing I was thinking about, so for those people who were watching before or are familiar with her bad act, they keep bringing up her bad act where she gets so drunk that she bashes shit inside the house. She takes a 2x4 and bashes his truck. So she does all that stuff in that prior incident, and at that point she's not worried about the cops. Like, she doesn't think that's a call to the cops. So in that instance, she's clearly not really worried about the cops, right? But in this instance, she is worried about the cops. Does that make sense? I mean, any rational person knows that if you're gonna bash shit and you fucking take a 2x4 and bash your boyfriend's car, the cops are likely gonna get called. And at that point, she didn't give a shit. But at this point, when this murder happens, she doesn't want to call the cops because she's scared. I don't know.
She has interaction with the cops where things went her way, because at that point in time, I believe that there's a protective order that he cannot be in that house, because when the ex-fiance testifies, they say, that caused this the mistrial. So back in the first trial, they say, why did you pick up Eric from jail and take him to his house? Why didn't you take him to Plantation? And she says he couldn't go there because there was an order of protection. So while he was in jail, there was an order issued of protection against Eric Robinson. So at that point in time, it's all going well for her if she makes that call and says, he came here, there's a restraining order against him. He came here, he murdered my boyfriend, he just left. At that point in time, she's like in the clear. But yes, of course, wild side, you said, why didn't Elizabeth Smart run away? That there is things in trauma that sometimes people freeze, or they fawn, and they basically like try to make their attacker happy. So it's not a perfect system, but it is strange that she had success in the past with the police, but she says, I didn't trust the police.
And also, didn't you think that might be why he took the other car, the ex-girlfriend's car, because he didn't want her to recognize the car? Didn't you think that?
Yes, absolutely. So he has this restraining order, and then the ex-fiance says, I don't even know why he took my car. The Cadillac worked. Well, the reason he took the car, and this is so hard for the jury because they don't know that this exists. And so it's like he plans to go over there, in the cover of a different car. He knows that if she sees his car, she's going to call the cops on him, etc. So I definitely think that was why he took the caddy, or that didn't take his caddy over there in the first place. He took the Kia.
Hey, Aaron.
What happened afterwards?
We changed it, and that's where, because looking now, I know a lot of things, they still are so blurry in my mind. Believe because of home education, all trauma, seeing my fiancé being killed there. But I know that we went out from the house. He said he needed to go to the courthouse.
Let's talk about that. Mm-hmm. At one point, you ended up at the Publix, which is right by the courthouse here, correct?
Correct.
How did you get there?
In my memory, I got there inside his car, inside the truck that we were. That's how I remembered.
Is that the truth?
No.
How did you get there?
With his car, Cadillac.
And you were driving?
I saw the video, and I agree I was driving.
Okay. Now, when you got to Publix, he left you alone at Publix, correct?
Yes, he did.
And what time of day was that?
So they have sex, then she drives his car to the Publix. Just for those who are just, this is after the murder. He leaves, he comes back. They have sex. They drive to the Publix in his car. She drives the car.
The body at this point in time is in the truck, the bed of the truck, his own truck.
Yeah, the body
The victim's
is
own
in the
truck.
victim's truck right now, in the bed of the victim's truck.
Around 8 o'clock, probably.
People everywhere,
Yes.
and he left alone on the aisle,
He left me alone, yes.
and then he came back, correct?
And then he came back.
You had an opportunity to grab a stranger, grab a security guard, maybe even use the courtesy phone to call the police, correct?
I had. But I didn't because I was so scared to be killed after he made it very clear. Anything I did, he would kill me. Even said he was going to kill my kids in Brazil. We had connections.
Just clearly super rehearsed. Even the way she's looking back at him, just clearly something that they rehearsed several times to try to make this story believable. And here's the footage of her
Who's this?
That's
in
me.
Publix.
It's you.
I think the state definitely gave her these
You by
buzzwords of like
yourself,
trauma, things are
pushing your car,
blurry,
correct?
Correct.
you were scared.
What are you shopping for?
I wasn't shopping. I was just waiting him come back.
By the way, just her body language when she's shopping. I mean, I can't put. I don't know. I feel like I would be stiff as a board, and just unable to like even walk around, knowing that what had happened and what like. I'm just out in public right now. There's a dead freaking body in the trunk of a car, and I don't know. She just seems very, very cash.
We hadn't discussed that yet, Aaron, but I definitely think, I mean, I've seen only a handful of pictures of her online, but she's definitely dressed. Her blazer's too big, her shirt's too big. Her hair is very severe, very pulled back. I think that that's all, at the state's request, that she not look like tart.
Like I would be if I had to shop and like get shit to like clean up the evidence, I would be knocking it over. It would be falling on the ground. That little thing that's in the middle of the aisle, I probably would have tripped over. I mean, I would be a mess. I mean, I don't like to go to Public in general, but
Correct.
all right.
As
Well,
you
here's the
hit
part, babe. We're at the
6
part
months
where
later.
they kind of
Yes,
meet up
it was very
and
quick.
have a little hug. All right, now she's at the end of the aisle, and the other dope is meeting up with her.
And this is you and him together, correct?
Correct.
As you're in the Publix, are you communicating as to where you are trying to find each other? If you remember.
I don't remember.
But you think you had your cell phone?
Yes.
Do you remember what you're talking about at this point?
No, I don't.
And that to me, all right. That to me is also just insanely unbelievable. she's shopping right now. You know, after the murder, they're having a conversation, and she can't at all remember what they're talking about right here. Wouldn't that be singed in your brain? Any of the conversations that you had that day, particularly when you're shopping after the murder? I don't know. It's
With the murderer?
with the murderer. Like, she does, like, if she's scared right now that he's gonna kill her, and like she's super scared, wouldn't she remember what he was saying to her? Wouldn't that be just singed in her brain as a moment in her life that she would remember? I just don't believe it.
I do think her body language in the store defers to him, though. She walks, you know, behind him. She's letting him take the lead. But I don't know that it says that she's scared. I don't know.
Here's the hug.
Now, Ms. Tagliarini, it appears, and correct me if I'm wrong, you appear to be hugging him, correct?
Correct.
Can you explain that?
I was afraid, and I have to make him very sure that I was going to be on his side and do whatever he told me, that I was not going to run away. I was going to tell everything he told me to do.
The problem with that is the text. That's not what... She's the one that wants the reassurance, not him.
Did you buy anything at Publix?
Holding hands.
No.
Tia, right? Her body isn't closed off. She's behind him. She's trying to demur to him, but she's not scared.
Now, at the bottom of this video, and it's not very...
Now here's a part that
Sometimes
Here's a part. Here's where they're checking out, guys. And I just want you to watch. First of all, you telling me this store doesn't have self-checkout? This fucking dope goes to a person? Maybe they don't have self-checkout, but... Dixie. Just watch this moment where she comes up to him, and essentially she's like asking him two different items, like which one would be better. Just watch this moment.
my period, and
Oh
we
shit!
had sex,
Wait a second.
and there was blood in the sheets.
What is the purpose of you going to...
All right, guys. All right. Trigger warning for the people who did not see this the first time. She's about to describe why they bought so much hydrogen peroxide. Guys, listen to this story of why they bought so much hydrogen peroxide.
Big lots, you know?
Eric wanted to buy cleaning supplies to clean the bedroom.
And this be Eric?
Yes.
Do you remember what you were discussing?
No.
Doesn't remember again.
What is he buying here?
Peroxide.
Peroxide. Why peroxide, if you know?
Well, I know he used before with me Sometimes when I was on my period and we had sex and there was blood in the sheets, he used peroxide to clean.
You guys heard that? We all heard why he previously used peroxide. Babe, what'd you think about that?
Well, no. Number one, somebody said, is she trying to say why her blood was at the scene? No. No, she's explaining why he favors peroxide for blood cleaning. Here's my problem with this. She is, I believe, 39 years old at this point in time. Ladies, people who bleed every month, all of us that are in here tonight. At 39, is someone else cleaning up after you? She's not 14. I'm just like, this screams banana sandwiches to me. I don't know why. I mean, he's just cleaning up blood. It's so bizarre. And I've never known a man to be so particular, to be the one to clean up afterwards. I mean, I suppose there probably are men, but I don't know. It's weird. We clean up our own period blood. I feel like that's like a thing with us ladies. Like, we're like, okay, this is me. I'm gonna I don't want you cleaning the sheets. That's weird.
Anyway, all right, let me it's going to come to the point where she brings something to him and she like asks him to pick.
Which sponge is better?
Oh, he's texting her right now, I think. Towley.
Towley for the win, right, exactly. It wouldn't have gotten on the sheets. We know. Yes, Ned. It's a fate worse than death.
Do you know
Which one, babe? Which one would soak up with the blood better for the murder? Which one,
I
babe?
believe it's sponge.
Sponge.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's the better sponge to wipe up to get the murder.
It's okay, Carol. We're family now. Not that you want to talk to your family about your period either, but we're friends in here.
Here's the part where he pays with cash and then keeps the receipt and puts it inside his car so everyone can find it. Smart enough to use cash, dumb enough to keep the receipt. I mean, I don't know why I'm saying smart. He just had cash. He wasn't thinking about it, I'm sure.
He just had cash.
All right. So, babe, what did you want to discuss?
I just was gonna say, like, what's your theory? I have a theory.
Well, one thing I want to say here, by the way, one thing I want to preface all this.
Oh.
Isabella is not on trial here. So she can be as unbelievable. I mean, ultimately, what the defense is trying to say is that Isabella is the one that bludgeoned this man to death. And I just don't believe that for a second. I think Eric did it. I think Isabella was probably involved some way. I can't say for sure how she was involved. But ultimately, Eric Robinson is on trial. And in my opinion, Eric Robinson fucking did this. How they were in cahoots or somehow, I just don't think she did it. I think the way that he was bludgeoned to death, I believe that it was Eric Robinson. But go ahead, babe. What's your theory here?
I believe the same thing. I have a theory based on other reactions that she's had. So I think the reason that she is being so deceptive is not necessarily that she had a part in the murder whatsoever, or that she's ashamed even that she didn't leave when she could have. I honestly think it's because that she had troublesome relationships with triangulation. She so she at one point in time goes, so the domestic violence thing where the cops, hot cop number 2 comes to the house on 9/22. She texts her ex-husband to tell him all about this, where she's like, he wants money from me. I don't know what to do. I heard his car. I need, she wants her ex-husband to save her, either through money and also through sympathy. And I think the same thing happens with Nick. I think that, or Nick with an H, I think he sees her getting mistreated by Eric, and then he goes to jail. They write this love contract. It's again like he's going to save her from this. Then he gets out of jail. And oh boy, it's a mess because he is hopping mad because he sees the blood oath. And I think that she didn't know what to do. I think that she played a messy game where she was like not saying, to Eric all the time, we're never going to get back together. I don't know. I feel like it is because of this triangulation that she continues to do with more than one man in the equation that he ends up dead. So I think what happens is he goes there that night. I think she opens the door to him. That's why, Nick doesn't wake up from the beeping.
By the way, yeah, they had an alarm that went off when the door opened.
I think that's why Nick doesn't wake up. I think she lets him in. They start to argue or whatever it is, and then I think he does kill Nick in his sleep. But I think it's because maybe she was saying to Eric that whole time, like, I didn't know what I was doing. I want to be with you. I don't know. I just think I think she had some hand in that. Did I miss any part of my theory?
By the way, I agree. Gretchen put, I can't believe that she's on trial. I can't believe, guys, like Shannon was saying, she can get up to 5 years for her plea deal. She could get 0 years. She could get nothing. It's up to the judge to decide. And I just think that's wild because she was clearly a part of what was going on here. And she could potentially get 0 and no jail. She was in jail for 4 days and then house arrest for a year. And she could get no time.
And she pled open, which means that she's open to the judge, giving her sentence. But that reduced it from a felony of tampering with evidence. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It reduced it from accessory after the fact to tampering with evidence. I mean, that's just insane to me that she spent 4 days in jail, yes, and she's getting this charge of tampering with evidence, which is just the most mere thing that could ever happen. And I think the state, really they wanted to give her the sweet deal. The first to squeal gets the deal, and I think they helped her testify against him.
No, Joni, I don't think she was in the bed beside him. That story doesn't make any fucking sense.
I don't either. I don't know. I think she let him in the house, and then they argued or whatever was happening, but I think she let him in because I just don't think she was asleep for a bludgeoning.
What do you guys think? Absolutely, Aaron. If he's getting bludgeoned, she's up. There's no way. Here's another thing that's pretty wild about her testimony, just by how we've been discussing the prosecution, we really don't get a clear idea of how the police are called from her testimony. And it's from her, she calls her ex-husband, and her ex-husband's like, I'm calling the fucking cops, and that's why. So, I mean, he's got to get called, I assume. I don't know, but I assume. Go ahead.
So I just read that it might be a problem. I was watching on Law and Crime, and there was a legal analyst, and they said that it might be a problem for him to be called because the thing is, all he can report is that he called the police, because anything she said to him is hearsay, because she's not on trial, so she's not the party. The whatever that's called, the party that's the defendant. So I don't know that he gets called. And if he gets called, I don't know that he's able to really fill in much information for us because of that. But again, just like that, just like what I was talking about before, they murder somebody and she's texting her ex-husband and calling her ex-husband and wanting him to save her.
And just for the people who are new to the case, this case is likely gonna the defense is likely gonna rest Monday or Tuesday, but I think Monday the defense is gonna rest, and then it's gonna be sent to the jury probably by Tuesday, is what the judge was saying, depending on this guy who forgot his daughter's graduation and the scheduling. But again, the prosecution has not done a good job, in my opinion, of laying out the timeline. They haven't done a good job of just, in general, just putting things in an order that's understandable, and it kind of bothers me. There's been a few things that all of us have been confused by, and I'm sure that the jury is confused by. So, I mean, hopefully they can close it and put it all together. But just based on how they've done so far, it hasn't been great. And the defense, as we've seen, they haven't been great either. So it'll be interesting when it goes to the jury. I don't have a strong feeling on this as I've had in the past. I mean, I just don't think that the defense is going to be able to prove that Isabella did this. I just don't see it happening. And I don't think, by the way, if Eric testifies, his prior domestic violence comes in. So I don't think there's any way that he testifies, but who knows? We'll see.
There's multiple domestic violence complaints or charges against him. He had a aggravated battery, and then he also, one of the domestic violence charges against him includes strangulation, which I think really hurts him in this case, where the victim was, beat about the throat and the mouth and the head.
Yeah, she's remarried, guys.
Yes, she is remarried. That's on our timeline. She found herself a husband. She did not. She served 4 days in jail, a year of house arrest, and then 1 year later, she walked down the aisle again.
All right, guys. Well, that's pretty much what we had. That's our first official Friday night Psych with Shannon. What'd you guys think?
You can tell the truth.
I know she killed it, but you guys can confirm it for
We
her.
have talked about everything here tonight. We are in the circle. We're in the nest, right, babe?
Yeah, we're in the nest with the tree.
We're in the nest. We talked about period blood.
Good feeling at you. What? What? I thought we were in the trust tree in the nest. Are we not?
Guys, we're all in the trust tree. We're all in the trust tree.
Good feeling at you. What? What? I thought we were in the trust tree in the nest. Are we not?
And guys, today's Friday. What are me and Shannon gonna do? Thanks, everybody. What are me and Shannon gonna do tomorrow?
Doing what?
Well, actually, pretty nice little Saturday. We're gonna go to Home Depot. Yeah, buy some wallpaper, maybe get some flooring, stuff like that. Maybe Bed Bath & Beyond. I don't know. I don't know if we'll have enough time.
I don't know if we'll have enough time to go to Bed Bath & Beyond. Maybe go to Home Depot. Basically, this was essentially what they did after the murder. This was what they did after the murder.
Doing what?
Well, actually, pretty nice little Saturday. We're gonna go to Home Depot. Yeah, buy some wallpaper, maybe get some flooring, stuff like that. Maybe Bed Bath & Beyond, I don't know. I don't know if we'll have enough time.
Hey guys, just a reminder,
Thank
Sunday.
you so much for coming.
Thanks everyone for being here. First of all, Sunday 7:30, patrons and Jabo Nation judges on YouTube. Murder Trial Rewatch, Sunday 7:30 p.m. There's going to be giveaways. There's going to be at least one special guest, and we're going to rewatch some of the testimony from the Murder Trial. So.
Oh, thank you, Tracy.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend. Have a good night. And we will see you guys Sunday, 7:30 Eastern. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being here. And thanks for
Thank you.
all your support. We really, really appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.